What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and I got a good one for you guys. So, today I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why you need to be in shape as a man, right? And I just had my morning workout. It's Sunday, had my caffeine. I feel fucking great. And the first one is it's the easiest of the requirements for a man. It's the easiest one to achieve compared to building wealth, building status, uh, building life setup as a man. All this stuff, right? So men, the thing about it for men, men aren't fitness isn't the only important aspect for men, right? Like men aren't only valued on fitness. Men are valued on resources, how competent they are, the value they provide to society, right? That's what men are valued on, right? But fitness adds to it. Fitness is fitness is a biological requirement, and it's the easiest one to do. So if you look at it some sort of exponential scale, right? Maybe business, what's another one? Business, lifestyle, how you dress, like all that stuff, like maybe knowledge, experience. It's all in sort of an exponential curve. So most of the time it's going like this. It's progressing very slowly. Then it shoots up, right? Fitness is more linear. People could argue with this, but fitness is more of a linear way, right? So you see it. You see the progress little by little, right? And time goes on and it keeps going up. And the reason why I say that is because it's easy to see the progress. You start seeing little results. Maybe if you were very fat and you start working out, you start taking the gym seriously, and suddenly like you see yourself like losing weight, you see yourself getting skinnier. If you're skinny, you see yourself gaining a little bit of muscle. Maybe you see your biceps getting bigger, you see your legs getting bigger a little bit. Maybe your chest is getting bigger, right? And I fitness is the easiest one because all you have to do is show up every day, right? And it depends on what goals you want, but all you have to do is show up and do some sort of physical workout, some sort of physical activity, and it will add up over time. And on top of that, most people do jack shit. Most people do nothing. So by you just training, working out, you're ahead of most people. You are ahead of 90% of people just by doing it. Just by being consistent. Even if you're not the best at it, you don't love it, it adds up. So the second one, you're less likely to indulge in booze, right? You're less likely to indulge in drugs or a bunch of recreational stuff, right? When you do it, when you're into fitness, you're less likely to do all this stuff. Think about it. Alcohol disrupts sleep, fucks your routine. Same with drugs, right? Doing it once or twice isn't the worst thing on the planet. It's not bad, right? But habits add up. If you're drinking, Friday and Saturday, only on Friday, Saturdays. Forget about maybe you're responsible, you have work, you go to the gym, but you only drink on Fridays and Saturdays, right? But you're more likely to just have lazy days of skipping good habits, of combining bad habits. Like maybe you do alcohol, maybe you start doing drugs, maybe you do some lines of blow, and then at 3 in the morning you're having a McDonald's or a Big Mac or something, right? And then you go to bed late, and then you wake up super late on Saturday at like noon, and you feel like shit, and you feel like throwing up. If you're into fitness, you might have some sort of fitness goals, right? Especially if you have fitness goals. Maybe you want to get shredded. Maybe you want to bulk. You want to build size. All of these require planning. They require you to make some sort of sacrifice. And usually alcohol is the one that you need to sacrifice. Alcohol, drugs, all of this crap, right? All this recreational stuff is the stuff that you're probably going to have to sacrifice. And if you want to take it seriously and you want to see results. And That's the thing. Alcohol kills testosterone. Same with drugs, all this stuff. It kills testosterone. But if it's Saturday morning, you're more like, if you know you're going to work out Saturday morning, are you going to go out Friday night? Probably not. If you know you have to wake up Sunday morning to go to hit the gym, are you going to go out Saturday night? Probably not. So that's why fitness is very good for that one. But then the third one would be people will mess with you less. Now, this one is so true. People like don't talk about this, but people like humans instinctively, especially other dudes, even women too, but especially dudes, they size you up. They size you up. The people will size you up to see how threatening you are, how much. If you're not, if you're someone that if they disrespected you, they could get away with it easily. Like if you look weak, right? You look like Captain America before he got his superpowers, before he got strong when he was a skinny little Captain America. If you saw the Captain America movie, he looked weak. He had shit body language. People kind of stepped on him. People disrespected him. Once he got jacked, no one messed with him. Obviously, it's a movie, but there's some meaning behind a movie, which is true, right? He got very strong jacked. People thought twice before messing with him, right? If you're weak looking, people will step on you. People will see you as someone they can undermine easily, right? Maybe someone they can manipulate easier, right? But you're in shape. Now all of a sudden you're a potential threat to them, so they won't do that, right? They might even walk on eggshells. They might watch what they say around you. Criminals, for example, they don't target people who look like they could fight back. Even if that person doesn't know how to fight, say they're in shape, criminals are less likely, it's statistically proven, they're less likely to target someone who's in good shape. Which makes sense. Even a pedophile, right? There was an interview with a pedophile, a convicted pedophile who was in prison, and he said he would target his victims based on if the father was present in their life or not, or how threatening the father looked. So if the father looked like a threat, he would not target the kid. So by you being fit and in shape, you're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting family as well. You're being some sort of deterrent. So I 100% vouch for this. I thought this would be really good to mention. So imagine this. Imagine there's some girl that you're maybe having something casual with, right? You're smashing, you're doing some casual relationship with, right? And she's mad because you're not committing or whatever it is, right? And she's like, I'm gonna tell my dad on you. I'm gonna get my dad I'm gonna tell my dad on you, whatever it is, right? And you're like, who cares? Like, dad, like, not a big threat, whatever. And then you find out her dad is Mike Tyson. How would you change? Everything would change. Your energy would change. You'd be like, oh shoot, your dad's Mike Tyson? And you'd probably like respect him, or you'd be like, oh shoot, I need to be careful. That's the power of it. Obviously, that's an extreme example, but that's the point. Don't mess with Mike Tyson's daughter. But why don't you be like Mike Tyson? All right, so the fourth one, people will assume you're more competent outside the gym, right? An AI automation client told me that I'm clearly disciplined, right? They just assumed I was disciplined because of my physique, right? Like, and it's even through Zoom. It's not even in person. They haven't met me. But they assume I'm disciplined because I look like I'm in shape, right? When I worked in sales, everyone in the office would assume how disciplined I was. They would mention how disciplined I am. People would ask me like, do you work out? What do you do? What should I do? I'm thinking about going to the gym. I'm thinking about getting to fitness. I would always get these conversations, right? And I wouldn't even ask it. I wouldn't mention it. I wouldn't even talk about it, but people will mention it to me. People equate fitness with discipline. right? They just equate it with discipline. And then they assume that if you're disciplined in the gym, you're going to be disciplined outside the gym. And they'll respect you more because of it. The fifth one is you'll know what it feels like to overcome something hard. So once you push and you reach your fitness goals, right? Once you reach some sort of fitness goal, maybe you didn't think you were capable of getting six-pack abs. And then years later, you finally get six-pack abs. Or you didn't think you could bench press 225 pounds. Suddenly, you're repping out 225 pounds. That's a win. That's like, oh shoot, like I worked really hard for this. I dedicated to it. I started tracking my macros. I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped partying because of it, or whatever it is, right? And you'll start realizing if I could do something, if I can achieve this body, then I could build anything else from scratch. I could build the business from scratch. I could learn another language. I can even train a combat sport and learn from that. I could do sales. I could get good at that, right? Because fitness, the way I see it is fitness is almost like a foundation. It trains you to do hard things, right? It like mentally prepares you for other things in life that matter, right? And those are the 5 reasons why I think everyone needs to do fitness. It's simple. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Just go 3 to 5 days a week. That's all you have to do. I go 7 days a week. I train 7 days a week. Maybe I don't do it varies on intensity, but I do some sort of physical activity 7 days a week. You don't have to do what I do. Just go 3 to 5 days a week. That's all you have to do. You do that for an extended period of time, you will be ahead of all these dudes. You'll be ahead of mostly everyone in the world because most people do absolutely nothing. And I'll leave it at that. If you guys like this content, feel free to leave a comment below. Take care.